Welcome to Country's Family Reunion 2010. Can you believe it's been 13 years since we had the first reunion? Wow, so many great memories. And yet somehow year after year, the reunions just get better and better. With a whole new group of country music legends, plus all the reunion favorites you've come to know and love, this gathering just might be the best yet. So sit back and relax as we share some stories, songs, moments that'll touch your heart. Welcome to Country's Family Reunion 2010.
Everybody's invited. Everybody's here. Yeah. One of the greatest songwriting and singing and picking duets in country music history. Members of the Country Music Hall of Fame, we all remember the great songs of the Louvin brothers. 82 years young, Charlie Louvin's come in off of his rock and roll tour long enough to be with us today.
Well, I can't get any of the country acts to let me work with them, so I'm working with Cheap Trick, Cake, Lucinda Williams, Old 97. You know, they're pretty good guys.
Having fun?
Surely. Absolutely.
I'm sure that audience is well aware of the Louvin brothers' music.
They are for a fact, Bill. I'm singing to the grandchildren and a few of the great-grandchildren that Ari and I used to sing to the old school gals, and the kids are coming along nicely now. So we have quite a few young folks in the audience when we work, and we're proud of that.
I'm sure they treat you with a lot of respect.
Well, they do. They do. Actually, the rock and roll guys that I've been working with is more friendly than a bunch of the Hat Boys are.
You're talking about the Riders in the Sky?
No, I'm not talking about the Doug Green is not just a guitar player and a good singer and a lover of Western music, but he's one of the premier writers in Nashville. He wrote the notes on the back of tragic songs that tell a story for the Rounder Folks people. When I want to show write-ups about the Louvin brothers, I drag out my songs that tell a story and said, read this. And Doug hit the nail right on the head.
He's been known to do that. Before you became a singer, you were a writer, weren't you?
Well, I was both for a while, yeah, before I had a career. I had sort of no career at either one, but yeah, I've continued to write.
Man's got to eat, don't he, Doug?
Yes, sir, he does.
Charlie, you're still active in recording. You were telling me you got a new album you're working on, and every time I look around, you got a new record out.
I'm going to record Charlie Louvin Goes to War. I found an 1862 war song about that little scuffle that we had back then. And World War I and World War II, Vietnam and Korea. I didn't get to go in World War II, but I volunteered as soon as I was 18, which was 1945. And then in 1952, when our General President Eisenhower said, elect me and I'll bring the boys home from Korea. He didn't say he's going to draft me and send me over to help bring them back. But that's kind of what happened.
So you're doing an album of war songs?
Yeah. I'm doing some Louvin Brothers songs, like The Weapon of Prayer, and Mother's Arms to Korea, Take the News to Mother. And I'm doing an old Ernest Tubb, Last Letter. And
what do you think it is about the Louvin songs that just keep them living forever?
Well, they're factual. I don't like songs that speaks of impossibilities or maybes. And I think that Ari wrote awful close to the ground. He wrote his feelings a lot of times, which luckily was the feelings of a lot of other people. And I think that's when Brother Butler was talking about his song that this young man recorded. It hit a lot of people. It might have hit you. Poor old Larry's had so many wives. The last time the preacher, last time that he got married, the preacher said, "You promise to love, honor, and keep up your alimony papers." But he wrote that song either from his personal feelings or a friend of his. But it happened. It's
factual.
It's not an impossibility. It still happens. So all good songs. One day when Bill is not working, talking about Bill Anderson, I have several Bill Anderson songs. I would love to know how he dug them up. Was they in his head, or did he experience them, or a friend? Right. But the boy's just full of it, you know. He really is. And I've recorded not as many songs as Connie or a few other people, but I've recorded several. My first successful record was a Bill Anderson song, and Cry Myself to Sleep. And that's a good song. And
You've been good to me, Charlie. I appreciate it. One of my favorite records in my collection at home is the tribute to the Louvin Brothers album that Carl Jackson produced a couple of years ago. I think he won a Grammy for it.
He won a Grammy. Alison Krauss and James Taylor won a Grammy for the single. And then there was 3 Grammys won. I got to see a couple of them, but I didn't get one.
I was going to ask you if you got one.
But however, I was last year and the year before nominated for a Grammy. Wasted a lot of money going to California and watching the biggies get them. And but it's out of, say, 10,000 people, it's awful nice to be in the top 5. So it's a great honor, and we appreciate it.
How about one of those great Louvin Brothers songs from you?
You mean right now?
Right now.
I got to get unhitched. They hitch you up so that you can't really get up and do much.
That's right. Dennis, what?
The Louvin Brothers melodies, the lyrics were great, but the melodies are haunting. Yeah. You can't get rid of a Louvin Brothers melody.
Praise in the righteous and the brother, better to live in paradise. I'll have a new body. Praise the Lord, I'll have a new life.
Ari would have made a good preacher. He is so good at narrations that it's bugged me, and in my career I've had a chance to do several, but, you know, I could talk to a mule, but I don't like to talk to a microphone. So if everybody's ready, we got the groovy band up here. It's led by the Wilson Flash, and is the fiddle player the leader? Oh, okay. I don't care who's leader. If you'll give me just a little music. When we grew up, somebody said, "Where'd this title come from?" When we grew up, I don't care if you was buying a mule, a plow, or a sack of flour. They would say it's be $2.98, and that's cash on the barrelhead. Yeah. No checks. I can't stand an ounce of bounce. So just give me cash on the barrelhead. Gentlemen, if you will. I got in a little trouble at the county seat. Lord, they put me in a jailhouse, followed loafing on the street. And when the judge heard the verdict, I was a guilty man. He said $45, or 30 days in the can. That'll be cash on the barrelhead, son. Not part, not half, but the entire sum. No money down, no credit plan. A little bird tells me you're a traveling man. Got a telephone number on a laundry slip. I had a good-hearted jailer with a 6-gun hip. He let me call long distance. She said, "Number, please." No sooner than I told her, she shouted out at me. Said, "That'll be cash on the barrelhead, son. Not part nor half, but the entire sum. No money down, no credit plan. Someone told me that you was a traveling man. Speaking of traveling, what's this? Well, them Irish. 30 days in the jailhouse, 4 days on the road. I was feeding mighty hungry, my feet a heavy load. Saw a greyhound coming, I stuck up my thumb. But as I was being seated, the driver caught my arm. Said, that'll be cash on the ballot, son. This old great dog is paid to run when the engine stops. Lord, the wheels won't roll. Give me cash on the barrelhead. I'll take you down the road. Sir William, I apologize. I'm not in the greatest voice. I've done better in my time. But
You sound great, man.
it's a tizzics or something, whatever it is that's going around.
Stay there. I don't want you to leave. I want to bring somebody up to join you. You made, as a lot of us have done through the years, you made some duet records, great duet records, with a lady that I am so glad to see here today because for those of you that don't know, she was injured pretty bad in an automobile wreck a year or so ago, and she's looking great. Melba Montgomery. So great to see you up and Adam and back with us. How did you and Charlie get together and start singing?
Well, after I signed with Capitol Records, Charlie, of course, the Louvin brothers had been there many years, and they wanted us to make a duet, and that was in '71, I think, '71, somewhere along in there. So I was Tickle Pink because I had been a big fan of the Louvin brothers for years, and ever since I can remember listening to country music, you know. So I was really happy to get to do it.
How many records did y'all do together?
We did 3 albums.
Wow.
Yeah, and we had 4 hit records, 2 of them in the top 5 that Bobby Braddock wrote for us. Yeah.
Of course, he wasn't your first duet partner.
No, I had one before.
You made a little record with George Jones one time.
Yeah.
Oh, we must have been out of our minds.
Yeah, it was a little song.
What a classic.
I wrote that in a van on the way to California where they had put me on tour with Lonzo and Oscar, and it was a Ford van with 3 other pickers and all of our luggage in it. And so I couldn't get my guitar out, and I wrote it on a penny postcard on both sides. So when we got there, I'd got my guitar out, and I tried to see if my lyric matched my melody I had. So that's where I wrote it.
Did you get the idea from figuring to be in that van going that far? You must have been out of your mind.
Well, I was crazy, I'll tell you.
How about coming up here and joining Charlie and y'all do one of those
Well,
duets?
like Charlie said, his voice is, I've been having sinus problems, so I may go out on him here in a minute. Oh, I'm hooked up too.
I will say, Bill, while she's getting unhooked there, if you, I know you've recorded with a bunch of great ladies, but this old girl, if you record with her, I'll tell you, you'll hump and get it. If you don't, she'll make you look bad. She's a singing piece of machinery.
Well, not today.
And a great songwriter, too.
Oh, she's a good writer. What we're going to do today is kind of silly, but we actually recorded some decent songs, did we?
Well, I thought they were all decent.
Well, we tried to get Capitol to release a ballad. We had some great ballads. You remember the ballad that Red Foley and Kitty Wells did, One by One. We had a super cut on that, but they said, well, you don't be crazy. You know, you got something going here. So we tried to be, the Capitol record people tried to be funny, one time too many. We had 2 good records before things got unfunny, though, didn't we? So this one here is, as you said, Bobby.
Braddock.
Bobby Braddock wrote this song. And if these boys has got it in their head, they could give it to us right now. We'll sing it. I got a real important job in a large office building. Lord, I ride people in an elevator. And I drive a 57 Chevrolet with busted tail lights, burnout valves, and a leaky radiator. And I wear a $20 suit I bought from J.C. Penney back in '62. But I got something to brag about, something to brag about, something to brag about in you. Da-da-da-da.
Well, I'm a short order cook in an all-night cafe down on 18th Avenue at 12th Street. I wear a swinging little dress that I made for myself from Mama's kitchen curtains and old bed sheet. I've got 17 pages of top value stamps, one old pair of shoes. But I got something to brag about, something to brag about, something to brag about in you.
Tell us more.
Well, when you're with the fellows, I know you start bragging about my hourglass figure and my big brown eyes.
Yeah, and you tell all your girlfriends about my good loving.
Mercy.
That's one pleasure money can't buy.
Oh,
No,
let's get married in the not too distant future. We'll rent a little flat on 29th Street. You know we'll hang our washing on a clothesline from the window. We'll feast on cornbread, butter beans, and lunch meat. We won't have a thermostat, a big long Cadillac, but we'll have a love that's true.
And I'll have something
Yeah,
to
and I'll
brag
have
about,
something to brag about,
something to
brag about in you.
Thank you, Bill.
Great.
Thank you, sir.
Charlie and
Can
Melvin.
we get back to work, get in our oxygen tent now? Both of us, me and Melvin both needs the oxygen.
Have the words lunch meat ever appeared in any other song?
Not the way I say it.
Launch me.
Alan Jackson had
Launch me.
Launch me.
Launch me.
That's great.
Yeah, Larry.
Launch me.
Charlie, I just wanted to tell you, I finally got it right. Peggy and I have been together 30 years.
Bless your heart. I love you that you're not hardly halfway yet. In September this year, my little woman and I will be together for 61 years.
So does that mean I can throw away my honk if you've been married to Larry Butler bumper sticker?
They didn't tell me it was going to be like this.
Big Ray Benson sitting down there on the end, chipped in a while ago, but been kind of quiet. It's kind of odd to say Ray Benson without just automatically saying asleep at the wheel, your great group. Where are they today?
Don't ask. No, they're back in Austin. We just got finished doing our play, A Ride with Bob, a Bob Wills play, and so they're all resting while I'm up here working.
Could we con you into coming up here and working with this band, doing a couple of good songs?
Oh, absolutely, man. Are you kidding me? This is really weird. I mean, I am used to having many people surrounding me here, but this is a wonderful band. I made a small mistake. I thought when Larry Black said and called up and said that this was the songwriters' show, and that was yesterday. So I'd have done some Bob Wills. Everybody talks about Bob Wills. Of course, we've done a lot, but I also write songs. So we do a couple of my songs here. And what are we doing? Do you want me to tell you? I'll tell you what we're doing. We'll do that second. I'll do this one. I wrote this one for my good friend, Coach Darrell Royal of the Texas Longhorn fame, who was one of the greatest football coaches, but also one of the greatest appreciators of songwriters. And of course, in 1969, Arkansas and Texas were playing for the national championship, and Texas had pretty much a running game, and Arkansas had the best defense against a run in the country. And they said they're running into this. Press goes up to Coach, and they said, "Coach, you going to do anything different?" He says, "We're going to dance with what brung us." So I wrote a song called "You Got to Dance with Who Brung You." You ready? Key of E. Oh yeah. Oh, that one. You guys got music? What did Chet say about that? He said, "You read music, not enough to hurt my playing." Oh, Hank Singer on that fiddle. You, swing with who swung you. Don't be a fickle fool. If you came here with a gal who has always been your pal, don't leave her for the first unattached girl. It just ain't cool. You gotta dance with who brung you, swing with who swung you. Life ain't no 40-yard dash. Be in it for the long run. In the long run, you'll have more fun if you dance with who brung you to the back. I had a friend in Texas, really had some style. He sang good old western swing and nearly drove him wild, wild, wild. When a talent scout from Vegas said, "Boy, dress and sing this way." In one short year, he's broke, and in L.A., you got to dance with who brung you, swing with who swung you. Life ain't no 40-yard dash. Be in it for the long run. In the long run, you'll have more fun if you dance with who brung you to the bash. Take off. Be real careful what you wish for, 'cause you just might get the whole darn thing. Be sure what you want is really something you can use, or you might wind up out there just singing the blues. You got to dance with who brung you, swing with who swung you. Life ain't no 40-yard dash. Be in it for the long run. In the long run, you'll have more fun if you dance with who brung you, swing with who swung you, dance with who brung you to the bash. This is a song I wrote on stage one night, much to the delight of the band. But I'll tell you, early in our career, I was telling Charlie this, Sleep at the Wheel, we went out to California to make it and didn't. And so we were backing up Stoney Edwards, and then we became Freddie Hart's band for a week when Freddie had Easy Lovin' was #1. For a week, we were we were the Heartbeats, and Freddie would get up there and go, and we'd do First of all, we did it 4 times in every show, you know. And then he'd go, here's a little tune I just wrote. The band hasn't heard it yet. Oh. Do it, Freddie, please. So I figured, if Freddie can do it, I can do it, you know. So I was in Lawrence, Kansas, with Leo Kottke, one of the great guitar players, and he'd opened the show, and I got inspired on the break and get out there and did this one. You boys ready? And it involves y'all, since we have such a stellar group of singers. It's called Boogie Back to Texas, and y'all holler, I'll sing Boogie Back to Texas. Let's try it. Boogie back to Texas.
Boogie back to Texas.
Dang, that's good.
We can be higher.
Vince, the harmony's a little higher than that, please. Hit it, boys. So long, can't wait to get back home. Oh, to the Lone Star State another day, I just can't wait. Look out, boys, I'm headed your way. I got a mind that wanders in a 57 Chevrolet. Hold on tight, I got a license to fly. With the pedal to the metal, watch me roll on by while I boogie back to Texas. Boogie back to Texas. Boogie back to Texas. Oh, boogie back to Texas. We're gonna boogie back to Texas, 8 beats to the mile, yeah! Rolling out of New York, Philadelphia, PA, Pittsburgh, Wheeling, West Virginia, on the way. Rolling through Ohio, gonna make it through Kentucky. Make it by the morning if I'm fast and lucky. Hold on tight, I am homeward bound. I'm gonna boogie back to Austin, back to my hometown. Boogie back to Texas. 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 We're gonna do it to you, baby. 8 beats in a mile. Memory point. Worth Dallas, just a roll on by. Waco, less than 50 miles. Clear the road, I'm headed your way. I'm gonna boogie back to Texas, cross the U.S. of A. Boogie back to Texas. Boogie back to Texas. Boogie back to Texas. Gonna boogie back to Texas. We're gonna boogie back to Texas, 8 beats to the mile. Texas, 8 beats to the mile. Can't you see I'm on my way? Boogie!
Ray Benson. What'd you think of your vocal group?
I couldn't afford them.
Jeannie Seeley just reminded me of something. Tell everybody what you just told me, because this is the last thing that people think when they see Ray Benson.
Boogie back to Texas, and he's from Pennsylvania.
That's right. Me and Jeannie Seeley are both native Pennsylvanians. We left the first chance we could.
That's right. First snowfall. I'm out of here.
Well, I was recruited by Darrell Royal and Willie Nelson to move to Texas because I wore a cowboy hat, was big, and sang Texas music.
There you go.
So I figured, what the heck,
Well, you've done well.
Well, thank you, Bill.
You're used to working with the sleep at the wheel, and today you were working with the sleep at the switch.
And I want to tell you, I just got finished. We touring with Willie Nelson, and I got to play guitar in Willie's band for 2 weeks, which you get a certain medal for that, you know. But the biggest thrill, one of the great thrills of my life, is working with Will. You know, amazing guy.
Watch it, he'll kiss you.
He needs a stepladder, you know.
We got a guy sitting here in the circle today that's looking at his watch, and not because he's running late, but Gary Morris's son is on a national
He's on Ellen. I guess
television
he's probably
show.
already been on. He was on between 3 and 4. He was on Dave Letterman's on Friday night as the musical guest, and then on CBS Morning Saturday morning, and on Ellen today. His name's Matt Morris. He's got a new record. He's on Justin Timberlake's label, and it's a surprise today, but Justin is actually showing up on Ellen, and he's doing his new single. Then Justin and he are doing a duet. So I've missed it, but that's okay because I got to hear Ray. And I got to tell you, when I signed with Warner Brothers, I was so excited. I've got a record deal. My very first show was opening for Asleep at the Wheel, and I'd never seen them. I grew up in Texas. I'd heard their music. It was 1981. I'm opening up for Asleep at the Wheel, Rainbow Music Hall. I go out with my acoustic guitar, and I do 45 minutes. It was great. And he comes out. It was 81. You weren't back with us until 83, was it? He had 2 girls in little bitty mini skirts, and they were out shaking it. And then he started juggling, and I went, "What have I done?" That was my introduction to actually really full-scale touring, and so we've been friends and in and out of Austin ever since. But it was a treat getting to hear you, and I also want to say thanks, Vince, for buying my breakfast the other morning and slipping out, you dog. So, but I miss my son today, and I hope everybody here and everybody that's watching internationally, if you get a chance to pick up my son Matt Morris's record. It's not country. It's I don't know what it is. It's
Music.
It's unbelievable.
He's great. I saw him on Letterman, Gary.
He's
great.
the best singer I've ever heard,
He's
and I've heard
great.
some good ones. He's really, really, really great, really
You
talented,
bet.
great writer. So.
Writes his own material.
He had 5 cuts on Christina Aguilera's record. He co-wrote Little Miss Independent. They're all pop songs, he's really, really good. And well, he and Justin wrote Reba's single, or a single that Reba had. So he's written a bunch of things, and he's really marvelous.
Are you his
talented.
manager?
No, but I was his publisher for a short period of time.
Hey, don't forget, there's a store down below. You can get Country's Family Reunion and Larry's Country Diner stuff.
During the Christina years, I was his publisher. Then somebody woke him up, but no, he's doing really well.
You told me something interesting a while ago that I had heard, but I had forgotten. Do y'all know who his secretary was for, what'd you say, 5 years?
Faith Hill.
Faith Hill was your secretary.
Yeah, she came to town, and I think I took her. I don't know if she'd ever been on a plane before. I took her to New York to see when I did Les Mis up there, and I came in when I hired her. I'd already gone through somebody that wanted to be in the music business, was the secretary, and I said, Faith, now, if you have aspirations to be in the music business, you can't have this job. Oh no, I just want to be in Nashville. And I come in one day and she's crying, and I go, "What's the matter, Faith?" She says, "I really want to be a singer." I said, "Okay, well, you're fired." She said, "What?" I said, "You got 2 weeks. You're married. You got a husband. He can support you. Go try it." and she went over, and I think Reba hired her part-time, and then Martha Sharp over at Warner Brothers heard some stuff, and then I think Gary Bird is the first few things, and my real claim to fame is that I got to host Nashville Now one time. They said, who do you want? And I said, I want Faith Hill on. And she hadn't even done her first record yet. She was in the studio. And so I hosted it and brought her on, and she sang, and it was cool. Of course, she's huge. Yeah. She's huge. And she's a wonderful lady. She really is a wonderful lady. I really love her.
She a good secretary?
Not worth a damn. She's good at that.
We got another interesting. Nora Lee Allen was just telling me you used to be Larry Butler's secretary.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was.
What kind of boss was he?
Believe it or not, he was a great boss. He was, every time he went on a trip, he bought little presents back for everybody, and he was fair, and he wasn't demanding. George Ritchie was equally, you all headed the label up, I guess, and Gene Shepard, Roy Rogers, all these people I've heard today were on our label, and I left there to have my first little baby. But he was a wonderful boss.
And she was a good secretary.
She was fabulous. And who is she married to?
Dwayne Allen of the Oak Ridge Boys.
I didn't know if everybody knew that.
They do now.
Okay. They do.
Gary,
they do.
you mentioned briefly the time you worked in New York. You starred in a Broadway show for how long?
I did 6 months. The first trip was up. I did La Boheme, which is an opera, Puccini. I played Rodolfo opposite Linda Ronstadt. That was in 1984. And I remember it so clearly because I won Song of the Year, got the award for Wind Beneath My Wings, and they, I believe it was Loretta that said I was up doing La Boheme in the award show. So it kind of stuck with me. And I went back, and then I did Les Mis in 1987. I played Valjean. I was the first American to do that on Broadway. I did it for 6 months, and then I came back, and that was it.
That's a whole different life, isn't it, from the music business?
You know, people say, God, you're gonna. They asked me how many times when I did La Boheme. They said, how many times can you do it a week? I went, well, how many shows do you do? They said 7. I said, well, I can do it 7 times. And they said, well, no tenor would do it more than twice. And I said, well, you know, don't understand. You know, I've been on the road. We sing, we get 3 hours sleep at a crack. We get up, we do radio interviews, and then we go sing you know, so it was much easier. Both of them were much easier than touring. Really? Every day I got up, got to like have coffee and read a newspaper and you know, kind of have kind of a life besides traveling. Right. And then, you know, I didn't talk to anybody. Really, when I was doing Les Mis, you couldn't talk to anybody because you just needed everything at showtime. But it was easier than touring.
You want to do it again?
No, they asked me to do it in London, and they asked me to do it a couple of times. I did it once in New York for 6 months, and then I did it for a little, like a 8-week or 12-week run in Los Angeles. And I did the international cast album. But if you have that album and you're looking at it, I think they used my high school picture in it. But I did the lead in it. It's the only record of Les Mis that's first note to last note of the whole show. It's kind of cool to have done that.
Were you the first artist to record Wind Beneath My Wings?
Well, you know, I'm the first one to, I'm not really sure. Let me explain it that way. Larry Hanley and Jeff Silbar wrote it. They're in the next room. I wrote at Warner Brothers. I was a writer for Warner Brothers. Really, and I heard it, and once again, Martha Sharp's name comes into it. She said, you ought to do this. I think that it was recorded by Lou Rawls, and kind of a talking version, and it did nothing. They tried to make something happen with it, and then so when I released it, Warner Brothers, Lou Rawls was on Warner Brothers, I got a call from LA saying, what are you trying to do, kill your career? It's exactly the opposite of time than what you had with, you know, somebody done somebody wrong song. Everybody said, you're killing yourself. And I called Alan Dick over at IVK in Knoxville. And I said, Alan, I've done your free show, you know, in your stadium with George Strait. Would you play this record? He says, it's 4 minutes of dead air. I said, would you spin it at 3 o'clock in the morning just to see if it gets a response? It was on the weekend. He said, all right. And he called me up Monday. He said, we played it. The switchboards lit up. And, you know, one song of the year, it didn't go to 1 because, you know, songs all have to go to 1 at the same time. It went to, I think, 3 or 4 on the charts, but it's a great one to hang your hat on.
It's one of the greatest songs to come out of this town.
Yeah.
Great song.
Could we all get together and talk you into singing it?
Yeah,
we
as
have to get
long as y'all don't sing along. Vince, you can. Oh, I'm still wired in.
Grab you by the leg, I'm sorry.
Take your guitar pick out of your mouth.
I'm trying to figure out how to undo this.
There you go.
You still got your guitar pick in your mouth?
I got it in my hand.
Take 2 and call me in the morning.
Bill, were you not on Johnny Carson from Les Mis?
I was.
Must have been cold there in my shadow. To never have sunlight on your face. You've been content to let me shine. You always walked a step behind. I was the one with all the glory. While you were the one with all the strength. Only a face without a name. I never once heard you complain. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I'd like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle, 'cause you are the wind beneath my wings. Might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I've got it all here in my heart. I want you to know I know the truth. I would be nothing without you. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I'd like to be. I can fly higher
Everybody,
Oh, you bring the stand for me, all right.
everybody in here is putting a guitar pick in their mouth, wishing they could sing like that.
That wasn't very good. Thank you.
Gary, did you study voice or anything?
Did I what?
Did you study voice as you were in college?
No. I've seen. I never had a music lesson. And in my life, I've seen 2 operas, and I was in them both. I learned to sing in a Southern Baptist church. And if there's anybody I ever emulated at all, it would have been the music director, my youth director when I was a kid. And I went to school on an athletic scholarship. I was about to go to Texas Tech to play football. I went to Colorado, started playing music. I went Colorado, Lubbock. Colorado, Lubbock. That's why I'm here.
Getting hurt, not getting hurt. Johnny Carson was mesmerized with him that night.
Rock of Ages, cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee. Let the waters and the blood from thy wounded side which flowed be of sin the double cure, save from a wrath that make me pure. As I draw this fleeting breath, when my eyes shall close in death, when I rise to worlds unknown and behold thee on thy throne, Rock of Ages, cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee, Rock of Ages, cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee.
Well, I don't know who's going to follow this, but whoever is, I would give this spot to the cleaners.
I got a small bulldozer. It's the only thing I'd follow it with.
And you say your son sings better than you do?
My son is, I really think I'm a pretty good singer, and my son is 10 times the singer I am. He still hadn't got a, I mean, you know, I'm 61, so until I actually sing probably as good, or my voice has gotten better through the years. He's young. When he gets to be in his 40s, it's going to be frightening.
He's how old now?
He's 31.
Does he use the same flavor pick in his mouth as you do?
No, but I'm telling he has kind of he's the kind of guy that if he walked into this room and everybody was in here and he'd just pick up a guitar and stop your heart. Yeah. You know, he can do that. But his record is his record has got a lot of stuff on it. I think maybe like, you know, car engines and, you know, elephant bugles, I don't know what all. It's pop music, and you know, I never really understood it. That's why I came here.
Charlie will probably be touring with him next.
Yeah. His name is Matt, Charlie. Matt Morris. I guarantee he would like what you do.
Give me a physical address and I'll hook up my GPS and we'll go.
You gotta love that. Thank you.
Nobody in here wants to follow you.
No.
Well, let's take a break then.
You didn't let me finish. I was going to say, except there's one guy way back over there in the back corner that has wandered in since we started it. Vinny, how
Talking
are
to
you?
me?
Vince, yeah, talking about you.
Don't make me come over there.
You want to follow that, don't you? Or would you rather wait till after we take a break?
I am not afraid. You know what? I learned a lesson 1,000,000 years ago from one of my heroes, and I found it to be one of the wisest things anybody ever told me. He was a guitar player by the name of Larry Carlton, arguably one of the greatest musicians that ever lived. Played on a zillion hit records, and I was in a country rock band, and we wound up on the same show together, and he was opening for us. And I went to him and I said, "This just seems completely wrong." I said, "Here you are, arguably one of the greatest guitar players that ever lived, and there's no way you should be opening for us." And he just put his arm around me and goes, "Man, it don't matter when you play, just play."
Yeah.
Right.
So those are great words to live by. So, you know, we can all do what we can do, and that's about it.
Vince Gill does what he does well. You want to sing back there or come up here?
I want to stay here. I'm not running the gauntlet. There's a man with sheep on his leg. And I heard about humping and getting it. I ain't coming down.
So it's not bad.
I thought I came into the wrong deal. I thought for a while I'd come into a Kenny Rogers look-alike contest. Looked over there and saw Caps, and I just got some new glasses, so I'm not seeing so good.
So what are you trying to say, Vince?
I'm not sure. I never know what to say. I'm just trying to outlive the outfit that I wore on the last one of these 2 years ago.
Oh, no.
That was the most absurd hat in the history of hats, and I wore the damn thing. That thing comes on TV, and I'm looking for the clicker, man. I said, God, get that off. Get that off.
Get a guitar and sing one.
Huh?
Get a guitar and
I'll
sing.
sing one from right here. Them boys can cover me up.
Got it.
Which one you want to do?
Look it up.
All right, we'll do it. Look at us after all these years together. Look at us after all that we've been through. Look at us still leaning on each other. And if you want to see how true love should be, then just look at us. Look at you, still pretty as a picture. Look at me, still crazy over you. Look at us, still believing in forever. And if you want to see how true love should be, then just look at us.
they'll all look back and wonder how we made it all work out. Well, chances are that we'll go down in history. And when they want to see how true love should be, they'll just look at us. Play some country music over there, Maggie. That's Mike Johnson, y'all. Chances are that we'll go down in history. And when they want to see how true love should be, they'll just look at us. And when they want to see how true love should be, they'll just look at us.
Thank you. Jenny Seeley said an interesting thing while you were singing that
No
song.
kidding. Oh, really? What a shocker. That's where I go for all my material.
Go ahead, tell them what you said.
This song, and this is one of the best compliments I can give, this song has always reminded me of We Could.
Oh.
The Bulow and Felice
Yeah.
thing
Well,
that
that's-
Dickens did, and you put the same soul in it
That is so sweet of you to
Mr.
say. I saw
Dickens
Jimmy
does.
last Saturday at the Opry. He came over to my dressing room, and I love him so very, very much. And it's I don't know if I've ever told the story about why our relationship is so dear and deep, but he asked me if I would write the words to Look at Us and frame it for him. He says, I go around the house singing that all the time, and it never dawned on me. It probably reminds him of We Could.
Such a
And-
great love story, and you sing with that same.
Thank you.
I think as funny as Dickens has always been, there's a whole bunch of us have learned singing with soul from him.
Well, amen.
Now, I had a single on it too. Just thought I'd mention.
How about another one from Vince?
Great song, Vince.
All right, sure. This is a song that I wrote with you. I thought would be appropriate to do today. I have an immense amount of respect for you as my friend, but also as a songwriter. And I remember years ago, we had never met before, and I did a really poor impersonation of Whispering Bill Anderson, and I was new to the Opry and just kind of getting my feet wet, starting to meet folks and make my way around, and it had gotten back to Bill that I impersonated him. And so I'm walking in the door, and he's at the other end of the hall out at the Opry House, and he starts for me. I said, "Oh crap!" Rot roll, you know. He started walking, little purpose, you know. And he said, "All right, Gill," he said, "Do me." I said, "All right, I'm Whispering Bill Anderson, and I wrote City Lights, and the rest of you can kiss my ass."
See, I didn't think he knew who I was. He hadn't got any idea who Bill Anderson is. But I got his phone number. Somebody had told me that we should write together. So I called him, and I'm scared to death because, I mean, he's a big star of the current generation. I'm thinking he'll think I'm some old dinosaur, you know.
He's a big boy,
I was
too.
all prepared to tell him who I was. I got his codaphone. You know what his codaphone said? No. "Hi, this is Whispering Gill." That's a heck of a way to break the ice, Vinny.
All of you have been on my Codaphone at one time or another. But yeah, I remembered you wanted to write some songs together, and you told me that you didn't really write hardly at all anymore. And I said, man, I want to write real country music songs. And I figured, in my head, in my heart, you were the well of where that came from. And there's a lot of young guys that can learn and impersonate what it is that this whole room has created and done over the years. But to have the opportunity to actually go to the source and write a song with someone that really had so much to do with the fabric of this history in song. I did that songwriter show with Bill yesterday, and it was an amazing room to be in, because you realize the spectrum of these songs and how much that they truly are the history of all this. You know, it takes both of us. It takes us to be able to sing it, somebody like Larry to make a record and all that. But it really is true how it starts with a song. So I went to Bill and I said, man, I would love to write some real country songs with you. And he had a few ideas, and one that he had was, it just killed me right off the bat. It was, he had a title, Which Bridge to Cross and Which Bridge to Burn. And it was at a really a big struggling time in my life with my first marriage, which didn't work out. And I had met Amy, and I was, I had felt like here's my soulmate, but it's never going to work out. And just that title and the first couple of lines, I said, if we could work on this, it would mean the world to me. So thank you for that day.
Well, it made me want to write songs again, so thank you.
Well, I'll try not to mess it up.
I've got two loves in my life now. A true love and one that's brand new. But I'm not really sure that I know how to love one and tell one we're through. I can't sleep at night. I toss and I turn. I keep losing sight of the lessons I've learned. I'm standing at the crossroads with just one concern. Which bridge to cross? Which bridge to burn? Oh, I knew this was wrong. I didn't listen. 'Cause a heart only knows what feels right. Oh, I need to reach a decision and get on with the rest of my life. I can't sleep at night. I toss and I turn. I keep losing sight of the lessons I've learned. I'm standing at the crossroads with just one concern. which bridge to cross, and which bridge to burn. I toss and I turn. I keep losing sight of the lessons I've learned. I'm standing at the crossroads with just one concern. Which bridge to cross and which bridge to burn? Which bridge to cross and which bridge to burn?
Hey, if you like that one, you're going to love this one. Or this one.